Audio Jungle.
On the wedding night, the red candles were shining brightly. The new house was decorated with lanterns and streamers everywhere, and it was full of joy. Yan Donghuang was sitting on the wedding bed covered with bright red brocade. Her phoenix crown and harem made her look stunning, bright, and noble. She looked at the man in red robe in front of her. Her eyes were gentle and affectionate, and her red lips, which had just drank the Sheng wine, were stained with the smell of alcohol, making them look rosy and delicate. No matter how proud and calm a woman is, she will inevitably become softer on her wedding day. Yan Donghuang is no exception. Sheng Jing'an put the two wine glasses back on the table, turned around and looked at Yan Donghuang. The tenderness and sweetness that he had shown when he lifted the hijab a moment ago was no longer there. There was no joy in his resolute and handsome face, but a bit of coldness, natural and complex. Yan Donghuang realized something and asked, "What's wrong?" Probably because he had finished drinking the Sheng wine, Sheng Jing'an no longer had any scruples and breathed out gently, "I have something to say to you." Yan Donghuang looked at him without saying a word, as if he had predicted something, and his dark eyes cooled down little by little. Sheng Jing'an's eyes were a little evasive. "There is a woman who came in with you today. I gave her the status of my equal wife, and she is currently 2 months pregnant." Yan Donghuang's face turned cold. "Equal wife?" "Yes." Sheng Jing'an turned to look outside the new house. Junior. Outside the door, a delicate woman walked in with lowered eyes. She had a delicate face, fair complexion, and a slender figure. She looked like she would fall over if the wind blew, which was particularly charming. Yan Donghuang's eyes fell on her face, and his eyes gradually dropped to freezing point. "I never saw her when I paid homage to the princess. She has been living in the inner courtyard of the Sheng family." Sheng Jing'an explained, "Junior's temperament is simple, weak, humble, and submissive, and it will not affect your status as the head wife. Today is my princess's big day. Do you want to marry your wife and concubine together?" Yan Donghuang said in a cold voice, "What if I don't agree?" "Even if you don't agree, it won't affect the final result." Sheng Jing'an frowned, obviously a little displeased. "I was wrong to hide the fact that I was a common wife, but Junior's existence will not affect your status as the head wife. Besides, the eldest princess has been on the battlefield for many years. Who knows if you have become unclean? I have never disliked the eldest princess. I also asked the eldest princess not to argue with Sheng Yun. From now on, we will only live in peace with her and live in harmony with our wives and concubines. I will not treat you badly." "How presumptuous!" Chang Lan, the maid beside Yan Donghuang, yelled angrily, "The princess is the king and the consort is the minister. The consort has no distinction between superiority and inferiority. How dare he let the princess suffer such a shame and humiliation? Does Sheng consort know that he has committed the crime of bullying the emperor? Crime?" Sheng Jing'an looked at Yan Donghuang coldly. "The princess was married to the Sheng family by decree, and she will be the daughter-in-law of the Sheng family from now on, instead of me becoming the son-in-law. I hope the princess can understand this and teach the maids around her well in the future. They are ordered to be careful in their words and deeds, and not to cause trouble for the princess elsewhere." Yan Donghuang looked at him coldly and said the same thing. "What if I don't agree?" Seeing how stubborn she was, Sheng Jing'an's expression became visibly gloomy, and his tone became a little more impatient. "The Sheng wine we drank just now, your cup was poisonous." Yan Donghuang's eyes narrowed and he stood up suddenly. "What did you say?" Chang Lan said sternly, "Sheng Jing'an, you are so brave. Murdering the eldest princess is a capital crime. Do you want the Sheng family to bury you with you?" Sheng Jing'an didn't want to pay attention to Chang Lan, but it was probably because of a guilty conscience that he unconsciously avoided Yan Donghuang's gaze and said, 7-day heartbroken powder." Yan Donghuang's face was as dark as frost, and he looked at him without saying a word. "The wine you drank was mixed with Qi Du Chang powder, and you have to take the antidote every 7 days. Sheng Jing'an said, unconsciously adding, "This is the emperor's wish, and I can only follow his orders." As soon as these words came out, the temperature in the new house dropped rapidly, as if it had entered the coldest month of winter in an instant, making people shiver from the cold. Chanlan's face turned pale, and she suddenly looked at Yan Donghuang. Yan Donghuang clenched his hands hanging by his side. What does the emperor mean? Yes, Sheng Jing'an explained calmly, your military exploits have been so outstanding in these years of fighting in the south and north. Half of the military power of the entire Yong dynasty is in your hands. The emperor is afraid of you, so he made this move. I hope you can understand. Yan Donghuang's brows and eyes were slowly covered with a layer of frost, and he was silent for a long time, so long that the air seemed to be stagnant. She suddenly realized and smiled sarcastically, so our wedding is a conspiracy? Eldest princess, please don't say that. Shen Yun frowned, as if she was a little helpless. My husband is also following orders. As long as my sister keeps to herself and stays in the house and never goes out, she will serve her well. I will deliver it to my sister on time, and I won't let her lose her life. Yan Donghuang stared at her face without saying a word. Although Shen Yun had moved into the Sheng family early, she was not very old. She looked like she was only 16 or 17 years old, and she still looked like a weak girl. With his eyes lowered at this time, he could clearly see the fair and slender back of his neck, and his slender body, which showed just the right amount of cuteness and tenderness. Standing together, she and Sheng Jing'an looked more like a couple who loved each other. Maybe birds of a feather flock together. There is a faint herbal smell coming from the nose. An idea seemed to flash in Yan Donghuang's mind, and he turned his eyes slightly. He glanced at Sheng Jing'an's face, and then quickly looked at Shen Yun. Did you make the 7 days broken heart powder? Shen Yun was surprised, then smiled. Sister is so smart, and I have some medical skills, so the life of this princess will be in your hands from now on? Yan Donghuang's eyes were cold and hard. If you want me to live, I will live. If you want me to die, I will die. Shen Yun shook his head. My sister misunderstood. How could I let my sister die? It's just that I am also acting according to my orders. As long as my sister is obedient, I promise. As long as you are obedient, I will not let you down, and the antidote will be delivered on time. Sheng Jing'an's tone became more and more cold, as if he was impatient to explain so much, so he simply finished the sentence at once. From now on, you will still be the head of the Sheng family. Mistress, the 7 days of heartbroken sands will hurt your body, and your martial arts will gradually dissipate, until you become the same as an ordinary weak woman, or even weaker than an ordinary woman. So you don't need to worry about the matter of being fed, you just need to feel at ease, just enjoy the glory. The emperor has granted Shen Yun marriage to me. She is weak by nature and will not threaten your position as mistress. Whether you agree or disagree, you can't stop this decision. Although you are a princess, you come from a humble background. You benefited from the emperor's grace and had the opportunity to go to the battlefield and achieve military exploits. You should be grateful. From now on, I will relinquish my military power, take care of my husband and raise my children, be a gentle and virtuous wife, and no longer go to the military camp. The antidote will be given to you on time. Yan Donghuang silently raised his eyes, looking at the man in front of him who was talking endlessly, her consort, her husband, the heartless man who inherited the title because of her military exploits. At this time, he was so shameless and high-sounding that he suppressed her with imperial power, threatened her with poison, restrained her with rules, and restrained her with women's ethics. By the way, there is also a concubine to disgust her. She completely forgot that all the glory of the Sheng family was due to her. Yan Donghuang is a princess. She has known since she was a child that she was not of high birth. It is said that her biological mother was just a palace maid whom her father drunkenly favored. She died in childbirth and was raised by a nun in the palace. She loved to practice martial arts since she was a child, and her talent was extremely high, which made up for her humble background. By chance, after the emperor saw her flexible figure, he arranged for a martial arts master to teach her martial arts. When she was 12 or 13 years old, she followed her father in the north and south. After several years of fighting experience, she was already the #1 female general in the dynasty. As a princess, she has never enjoyed a life of pampering. She has experienced the warmth of human relationships early on, so she practiced martial arts hard to protect herself and the country. The emperor's father died, and the emperor's brother ascended the throne. She continued to expand territory for him and fought in both the south and the north. Over the years, I have experienced countless wars, large and small, guarded borders, quelled civil strife, and saved my life several times at the gate of hell. The country was stable and strong. She took off her armor and returned to marry her childhood sweetheart. She thought he was a good man and obeyed his words, but he married his wife and concubine on their wedding day and even fed her a glass of poisoned wine with his own hands. Shen Yun thoughtfully defended Sheng Jing'an. Princess, this marriage is a gift from the emperor. Don't blame Brother Jing. He is a man, and it is normal for him to have 3 wives and 4 concubines. Just because you are a princess, you cannot stop him from having other affairs, wives and concubines, not to mention. What's more, I am about to become a useless person and be forced to relinquish my military power. From now on, I can only live by your faces. Yan Donghuang smiled coldly and said what she wanted to say. What if you are the eldest princess? Once you lose your martial arts, lost military power, lost the emperor's protection, I am not even as good as a palace maid. Do you want to say this? Shen Yun looked embarrassed and bit her lip. I didn't mean that. Please don't misunderstand, Princess Donghuang. Sheng Jing'an frowned slightly. No one can disobey Yuxi's marriage. From now on, you will be the mistress of the Sheng family, and you will have the honor that a mistress should have. You are tired. Please rest early. Shen Yun bowed to Yan Donghuang Yingying. I will respect the eldest princess in my future life. I hope that we sisters can live in harmony and serve our husband together. You, a concubine, are worthy of living in harmony with me? Yan Donghuang interrupted her coldly. Shen Yun's face froze, and then he spoke provocatively. After the emperor granted marriage, I am his equal wife and can be on an equal footing with the eldest princess. As she said that, she lowered her eyes and sighed softly. From now on, the person of the eldest princess no longer exists. After marrying Brother Jing, you will only be his wife. The husband is the wife's guide, and you should do whatever the husband asks you to do. What, is it possible that you still want to use what you did on the battlefield at home and make everyone obey your orders? It may be that the power of the 7 days heartbreak powder gave Shen Yun more confidence and courage. She felt that Yan Donghuang was a toothless tiger at this moment, not threatening at all, so she didn't even want to maintain the superficial respect. However, as soon as she finished speaking, Yan Donghuang's face turned angry and he raised his hand to slap her. How dare you? The slaps were crisp and strong. The room was so quiet for a moment that you could hear a pin drop. Sheng Jing'an's expression suddenly changed and he said angrily, Yan Donghuang, what are you doing? This is the Duke's mansion, not the eldest princess's mansion. It's not your turn to act wild here. Yan Donghuang's eyes turned cold, and he raised his hand to swipe at his face. You are too presumptuous. A lightning-fast slap fell heavily on Sheng Jing'an's face, leaving half of his cheek numb. Before Sheng Jing'an could react, Yan Donghuang grabbed his neck with one hand and dragged him to the Nuan pavilion next door. Eldest princess, what are you doing? Eldest princess. Shen Yun's expression changed drastically, and he hurriedly chased after her, regardless of the redness, swelling and pain in her cheeks. Eldest princess, Brother Jing is your husband. What are you going to do to him? The eldest princess. Bang! Yan Donghuang kicked Sheng Jing'an to the ground, took the whip on the wall, and whipped him hard. Whoosh! 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 The shadow of the whip is like a strong wind, sharp and cold. Yan Donghuang was a martial arts practitioner, and he was merciless with every whip. In the blink of an eye, Sheng Jing'an's skin and flesh were torn apart. Ah! The eldest princess has killed someone. Come quickly, Yan Donghuang, stop it. Brother Jing is your husband. Shen Yun's face turned pale and she wanted to step forward anxiously. but he saw a sharp whip coming towards him, hitting his arm mercilessly. Ah! Sheng Yun screamed in pain. Yan Donghuang, do you want to kill your husband? Someone is coming. Someone is coming quickly. You're right. Yan Donghuang held the whip and looked at her with cold eyes. For a moment, he felt like an evil spirit possessed. Since this princess has taken the poison, she only has 7 days left to live. How can I still endure these things from you again? Bitch blackmail? After saying that, she raised her hand and whipped Sheng Yun's face, followed by a shrill scream, leaving a shocking blood mark on Sheng Yun's cheek, who had no time to dodge. Ah! My face! My face! Sheng Jing'an endured the severe pain, struggled to get up from the ground, and stared at Yan Donghuang angrily. You are crazy. Yan Donghuang, are you crazy? I'm crazy. Yan Donghuang knelt down in front of him and looked coldly into these wolf-hearted eyes. Sheng Jing'an, the Duke's mansion should have fallen long ago. You relied on my princess's military exploits to successfully attack the prince. But once we got married, you helped the emperor deal with me, poisoned me, forced me to hand over my military talisman, and even took a concubine, so you can look at me in the mirror. Are you worthy? As she said that, she raised her hand and grabbed the back of his neck, and roughly dragged him to the bronze mirror. She forced him to open his eyes and look at the bloody and embarrassed man in the mirror. She held his head and banged it hard against the mirror. Sheng Jing'an, take care of yourself. Are you worthy? You bastard! Ah! Sheng Jing'an screamed in pain, and a wisp of blood slipped from his forehead. Yan Donghuang, are you crazy? Are you really crazy? Someone is coming. Someone is coming. The eldest princess is crazy. Take her away quickly down. Yan Donghuang threw him to the ground like a piece of dirty, smelly rag. Sheng Jing'an was covered in blood, lying on the ground in a mess and pain, like a bereaved dog. Yan Donghuang walked past his feet, looked at Sheng Yun, who was shivering on the ground, bent down and lifted her chin. Her beautiful and cold face was as cold as a god. You want to be his equal wife? Sheng Yun was completely frightened by Yan Donghuang's state and kept crawling backwards, her voice trembling unconsciously. How about I send you to be a pair of Mandarin ducks with the same fate? I won't get married. I won't get married. Sheng Yun shook his head wildly, fear reaching the extreme. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Princess, please don't kill me. Yan Donghuang smiled. Who am I? Sheng Yun's face was pale, his eyes were red, and he was almost out of his mind. You are the eldest Princess Qinghuan, the eldest princess of the God of War, personally named by the late emperor. Please spare me, eldest princess, spare me. Who gave you the courage to think you could offend me? Jing, brother Jing, no, it's Sheng Jing'an. He said that you have brilliant military exploits, but you have a cowardly temper. You must obey the emperor's orders. You are still poisoned. You must not dare to act rashly. If you are deeply in love with him, he will do whatever he says. He is the one who decides this family. Sheng Yun's face turned pale, and she was so frightened that she almost cried. I really didn't know you were so scary. Please spare me. I don't dare anymore. Princess, please spare me. Woo-woo. Yan Donghuang let her go, turned around, walked to the side and sat down, looking down at the two people like ants. You have been shouting for so long. Is there anyone outside? Sheng Jing'an was shocked and looked at her in disbelief. On today's big day, you only brought 8 maids as a dowry. Except for Changlan, everyone else was transferred to the backyard to help. There can't be anyone else. You. If this princess was really so unprepared, she would have died on the battlefield a few years ago. Yan Donghuang smiled coldly. You two clowns, can you let me be captured without any help? Sheng Jing'an gritted his teeth. You have been poisoned and can only live for 7 days. So what? Yan Donghuang's eyebrows were sharp. This princess has never been threatened by others. After saying that, she turned around and shouted, Come here. 2 men in black clothes walked in from outside. They turned a blind eye to the strange scene in the new house and knelt down on one knee. Your Highness. Yan Donghuang ordered, Rong-ing, seal off the East Mansion immediately and tell the outside world that Prince Consort Sheng is too drunk and has rested. No one from the Sheng family is allowed to step into the East Mansion. Yes. One of them stood up and left neatly. Ying, take my token back to the princess's mansion immediately and order Mo Lin to dispatch 200 elite soldiers. Then you go out of the city to the military camp and select 10,000 elite soldiers. When the city gate opens tomorrow morning, take them into the city. Yan Donghuang threw the token to him. The city gate is not locked yet. Go quickly. I obey your order. The man in black took the token, stood up and walked away quickly. Yan Donghuang, what do you want to do? Sheng Jing'an was shocked and stood up from the ground despite the severe pain. His expression was shocked and angry. Mobilizing troops without an order is considered treason. Are you rebelling? Do you want to kill our Sheng family? Yan Donghuang's eyes were cold and sharp, and a cruel arc appeared at the corner of his mouth. Rebellion, so what? Since I only have 7 days left to live, do you think the Sheng family can survive? Even if I kill him without leaving a single piece of armor, what can the man on the throne do to me? It's nothing more than just a death. Who said you only have 7 days left to live? Sheng Jing'an was furious. Didn't I tell you that there is an antidote for the 7 days heartbreak powder? As long as you listen to me, you won't die. I won't believe your lies anymore. Yan Donghuang's voice was as cold as ice. I don't want to live a miserable life. In these 7 days, I will make a profit by taking away as many people as possible. After the words fell, Sheng Jing'an's face turned pale, and he felt a chill running up his spine from his feet. He looked at Yan Donghuang's beautiful but cold face and felt like he was falling into an ice cellar. On the big day, a banquet was going on in the front yard of the Sheng family. Because Huangjiu is the location of the eldest princess's new house, the entire East Mansion where Huangjiu is located has been cleared out in advance, and all the courtyards are uninhabited to show respect for the eldest princess. But the fact is that when Yan Donghuang was poisoned, no one could hear her cry. No matter what happened to Huangjiu, no one else would know except Sheng Jing'an and Shen Yun. In this way, when something happens in the future, they can completely shirk the responsibility. It can also be said that the eldest princess is putting on airs to prevent the Sheng family from approaching her residence. However, cleverness is misled by cleverness. No one expected that Yan Donghuang would be completely unthreatening and would dare to be so reckless when he was poisoned. Not only did she severely injure her husband, but she also sent troops into the mansion. When Mrs. Sheng heard that the East Mansion was sealed and her son had rested, she suddenly had an ominous premonition in her heart. Dongfu is blocked? Mrs. Sheng asked in surprise, why is it suddenly blocked? Aunt Tang replied, it was said that the Duke was tired and wanted to rest early, but the friends of the Duke kept urging him to go out and drink with them. The eldest princess was so angry that she directly blocked the East Mansion and refused to allow the Duke to go out. Mrs. Sheng's face darkened. It's unlikely. Jing'an said that Yan Donghuang would be obedient when she married into the Sheng family. She would treat her as an ordinary daughter-in-law and would not act like the eldest princess. I don't know, slave. Nanny Tang guessed. Maybe it was the first night of the wedding, and the eldest princess has not completely let go of her arrogance. For the sake of the wedding, why don't you break up with her? When Mrs. Sheng heard what she said, she felt that it made sense. After all, the eldest princess has been leading troops outside for several years, so she is used to being bossy and has a normal temper. However, she married into the Sheng family under the decree. The emperor's purpose was to relieve her of military power and let her be a good wife who can support her husband and raise her children. So I will never condone her temper. After today's wedding, she will teach her the rules of being a wife and daughter-in-law. Send someone to keep an eye on it. Mrs. Sheng turned around and went out to entertain the guests. If anything happens, report it to me in time. Yes. On the day after the wedding, the newlyweds will serve tea with their elders. Mrs. Sheng decided to set some rules for Yan Donghuang when they asked him to serve tea and rub her out of her arrogant temper. Even if you are the eldest princess, you should serve your parents-in-law and stay safe when you get married. What's more, Yan Donghuang has lost the emperor's protection and favor, and she only wears the name of an eldest princess, Huang Julie, at this time. Yan Donghuang sat on a chair and looked down indifferently at the two bereaved dogs lying on the ground. The East Mansion occupies a large area with well-proportioned courtyards. In order to show respect to this princess, the Sheng family vacated all the courtyards of the East Mansion in advance to use them as decorations. It's really well-intentioned to release this princess's dowry. Sheng Jing'an tried to get up from the ground, but as soon as he made a move, Yan Donghuang kicked him down and stomped on his back. Before this, I did think that you were doing it out of respect. Yan Donghuang, Sheng Jing'an said awkwardly, with a bit of gritted teeth in his voice, I am your husband. Are you going to kill me? From the moment you brought me the poisoned Heian wine, you were just my enemy. Yan Donghuang looked at him coldly. I dare to kill the king, let alone you, a sinister and vicious bitch. Sheng Jing'an's face turned pale. Regicide. Regicide? What? A sarcastic smile appeared on Yan Donghuang's face. You don't think that because of your 7 days broken heart powder, I will only kneel on the ground and beg for mercy and an antidote instead of killing you all, right? Sheng Jing'an's eyes narrowed suddenly, as if he finally realized what a cold and decisive evil god he had provoked. He shouldn't have been exposed prematurely. He should wait until the poison invades her lungs and eats away at her martial arts and physical strength, leaving her powerless to resist, before telling her the truth. She shouldn't have let her know about Sheng Yun's existence so early. At this time, Sheng Jing'an felt extremely regretful. It's not that I regret poisoning Yan Donghuang, but that I regret telling her the truth so early. He was too careless. One wrong move and you'll be doomed. Sheng Jing'an regretted so much that his intestines turned green. A painful moan passed into his eardrums. Sheng Jing'an turned his head with difficulty and saw that the originally beautiful and charming Sheng Yun had lost his human form. Her hair was disheveled, and her fair face was intertwined with 2 bloodstains. Her face was completely ruined, and she was in a state of panic, trembling state. Sheng Jing'an's heart sank to the bottom, and he suddenly turned his head and glared at Yan Donghuang, with more resentment in his tone. She is still pregnant with the child, Yan Donghuang, you. How could you do this? Is the child she is carrying mine? Yan Donghuang raised an eyebrow and asked, not to mention who her evil seed belongs to. A pregnant woman does not want to accumulate blessings for her child, but instead creates a vicious 7-day heartbreak. She is responsible for causing harm to others. A mother with a vicious nature, her child should not have come into this world. Yan Donghuang curled up with the whip in his hand, closed his eyes, and took a deep breath. Sheng Jing'an, in less than an hour, my princess's elite troops will surround the Sheng family. If you don't tell the emperor and all your conspiracies tonight, this princess will massacre the Sheng family tomorrow, and then lead her troops into the palace. It's worth it to get a few more people to back her up before she dies. While she was talking, she stepped hard on Sheng Jing'an's back with 1 foot. This groom, who was so famous during the day, the new generation head of the Sheng family, and the youngest newly promoted duke of the Great Yong dynasty, was lying on the ground in an extremely embarrassed state, with all his dignity lost. Not to mention subduing a woman, he doesn't even have the ability to break free from a woman's feet. He can't even hold back when plotting a conspiracy. It's a pity that the emperor trusts him and gives him such an important task. Yan Donghuang raised his foot and said coldly, Chanlan. Yes. Chanlan replied respectfully. This princess has a few questions to ask the prince consort. Yan Donghuang said indifferently, because of his deep affection for his concubine Sheng Yun, I need her cooperation. Chanlan understood. Yes. Sheng Jing'an. Yan Donghuang's eyes were like knives, staring at Sheng Jing'an's embarrassment. Is there really an antidote for the 7-day heartbreak powder that this princess took? Sheng Jing'an said coldly, would I lie to you? Yan Donghuang frowned, and his beautiful eyebrows and eyes were full of hostility. Chanlan picked up Sheng Yun, who was disheveled, and without saying a word, raised her hand and slapped her 4 times. Pa 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 pa. It was crisp and sharp and frightening. Sheng Yun's cry of pain echoed in his ears. Sheng Jing'an froze, raised his head and glared at Yan Donghuang. Sheng Yun is innocent. She is just a weak woman. Yan Donghuang, what do you want to do? Yan Donghuang played with the whip in his hand and said in a calm tone, Princess, I have a lot of time tonight. The guests outside will disperse little by little. Your mother may suspect that something happened to Dongfu, but they can't get in. I can only sleep in uneasiness, and not a word of news from Dongfu can be spread outside. Brother Jing, husband, Sheng Yun cried out in fear, I hurt. Sheng Jing'an suppressed the hatred in his heart and said coldly, there is no antidote for 7 days broken heart powder. Yan Donghuang, you will definitely die if you drink the poisonous wine. No. Sheng Yun retorted sharply, Brother Jing, you are lying. I have the antidote. As long as the eldest princess doesn't kill me, I have the antidote. Yan Donghuang, only if you die can the emperor feel at ease and I can become the upright head of the family instead of relying on your halo. Only then can Juner be my head wife. Sheng Jing'an straightened his back and looked at her coldly. Yan Donghuang, only if you die can the Sheng family be completely in charge of me. I can take in as many concubines as I want without worrying about your identity as the eldest princess. I want to open up branches and leaves for the Sheng family. Let the Duke's mansion become a century-old family, and let the Sheng family's illustrious glory continue. Brother Jing, what are you talking about? Sheng Yun looked at him in shock, his face pale and colorless. I said I have the antidote, Brother Jing. The emperor wants her to die. Sheng Jing'an turned around and shouted angrily, don't you understand? It's the emperor who wants her to die, and the emperor has never thought of giving her an antidote. Sheng Yun looked at her blankly. She knew that the emperor wanted to take back Yan Donghuang's military power and wanted Yan Donghuang to die. But if he said it now, wouldn't it make Yan Donghuang more murderous? Why couldn't he lie and coax Yan Donghuang? And she originally wanted to use the antidote to control Yan Donghuang. She wanted to be above Yan Donghuang. She wanted to experience the feeling of stepping on the majestic eldest princess. She didn't want Yan Donghuang to be so fast. Just die. As long as Yan Donghuang is in hand, her antidote can be useful. Can you understand the feeling of taming the most noble person in the world little by little? Who can understand the feeling of breaking her wings, tearing away her pride, making her weak and humble, lingering on her last breath? Sheng Yun propped up her body and slowly turned her head to look at Yan Donghuang, as if looking for a chance of life. Elder princess, I have an antidote. As long as you let me go, I will give you the antidote immediately. Yan Donghuang had no special reaction to her words. There was neither surprise nor doubt. She just looked at Sheng Jing'an. After my princess dies, what does the emperor plan to do with my princess's Qinghuan army? Sheng Jing'an clenched his hands, and the bloody pain all over his body made him understand that Yan Donghuang was not easy to talk to. If she really spent the whole night interrogating them, her harsh words would only make him suffer more. Early tomorrow morning, the emperor will order 7 generals from the Qinghuan army to enter the Sheng family to congratulate the eldest princess on her wedding. The Sheng family will prepare a banquet for them. Sheng Jing'an closed his eyes. If any of them are willing to be loyal to the emperor, if you obey my orders, you can save his life. Yan Donghuang's eyes were extremely cold. So the emperor wants Sheng Jing'an, a loser who has never been on the battlefield, to take over the Qinghuan army. If the 7 generals under his command are obedient, they will stay to assist Sheng Jing'an, and if they are disobedient, they will be executed. Yan Donghuang can be sure that her 7 generals will never succumb to Sheng Jing'an, so as long as she dies, those 7 generals are also destined to die. The emperor wanted to make sure nothing went wrong, so he had to deal with the 7 generals before she died. Yan Donghuang was silent for a long time before speaking again. How many people in the court know the emperor's plan? Sheng Jing'an said, the matter is confidential. The emperor does not want to dishearten the courtiers, so apart from Sheng Yun and I, only the Queen Mother knows about this matter. Yan Donghuang sneered. Queen Mother? The current Queen Mother is the biological mother of the emperor, but in recent years, in order to win over Yan Donghuang, she almost treated Yan Donghuang as her own daughter. She once said personally, Donghuang, you have no biological mother, and I have no daughter. From now on, our mother and daughter will depend on each other, okay? I will definitely treat you as my biological daughter. The queen mother was not a queen back then, she was just a concubine. She treated Yan Donghuang like this just to win over a princess with military power for her son, and the late emperor really loved her daughter back then. My father once said, so what about my daughter? Still go to the battlefield and kill the enemy. Her title of Princess Jing'an was given by her father. The queen mother was interested in her status in her father's heart and the military power in her hands, so she regarded her as her own daughter. Her biological mother died young and she had no royal brother from her mother, so she regarded the queen mother as her mother and her son as her royal brother. She wholeheartedly supported him to become emperor, but what she got in the end was such persecution. The human heart is indeed the most dangerous thing in the world. Yan Donghuang's heart hurt, as if his heart was being cut out with a sharp knife. She turned around and walked towards the outer hall, her voice indifferent, watch this place, don't let them come out. Chanlan responded, yes. Yan Donghuang. Sheng Jing'an stood up and was about to chase him out. I am your husband. If you marry a chicken, follow the chicken. If you marry a dog, follow the dog. Snap. Chanlan raised her hand and slapped him. You ungrateful jackal, how dare you call the eldest princess by her name? Eldest princess, eldest princess. Shen Yun was frightened and begged hysterically, I didn't mean to harm you. It's the emperor's decree that cannot be violated. It was Brother Jing who asked me to do this. Eldest princess. Chanlan kicked them away, closed the door neatly, and locked it, leaving the pair of scumbags and bitches to roar in the room. Anyway, even if they screamed their throats out, no one would come to save them. Yan Donghuang returned to the inner room of the new house and lay on the bed in silence, with a layer of icy frost lingering on his beautiful eyebrows. Your Highness. Chanlan followed and frowned worriedly. Is there really an antidote for the 7 days heartbreak powder? Is there anything wrong with your body? Yan Donghuang closed his eyes lightly. There is no antidote for the heartbreak powder, at least Shen Yun doesn't have it. Chanlan's face changed. Your Highness, then, don't worry. Yan Donghuang's voice was cold and resolute. I know. Yes. Yan Donghuang closed his eyes and leaned against the head of the bed, and the scenes of fighting on the battlefield in the past few years emerged in his mind. Thinking of the high-spirited and high-spirited years, galloping on the battlefield, thinking of the loyal soldiers under his command, swearing to follow him to death, thinking of rewarding the 3 armies on the day of triumph, the favor of the king, thinking of the thousands of people in Yong dynasty, and the stability of the country. Who has not died since ancient times? Yan Donghuang was never a coward. She had imagined more than once that she would die on the battlefield. She had thought that for the sake of the country's stability and the people's peace, it would matter if she died on the battlefield. But she had never thought that she would not die under the enemy's swords and crossbows, but would be framed by her most trusted brother and husband after the war. One was her brother who helped her to the throne, and the other was the husband she was going to spend her life with. There was also a mother whom she had truly respected. When she was defenseless, they personally cut her heart with a sharp blade until it bled. The night seemed extremely long. After 3 drinks in the front yard, it was still bustling. However, no one noticed that quietly, 200 elites were surrounded outside the Duke's mansion. The young princes drank until midnight, and most of them were drunk when they left. They felt that there was something unusual about the Duke's mansion tonight. First, the young Duke never came out after entering the East Mansion, and he never drank with the guests. Second, the atmosphere in the Duke's mansion is not right. There are always some unfamiliar faces inside and outside. But after all, guests are just guests. They were drunk and had no intention of thinking. They only guessed that it was because they didn't know the guards of the Duke's mansion, or even if they knew they were the eldest princess's guards. It was normal for them to escort the eldest princess out of the palace on their wedding night. After all, the friendship between the prince and the eldest princess is so deep that they no longer distinguish between you and me. After the guests dispersed, the Duke's mansion returned to peace. After all the busy work, the old lady was exhausted. She washed up early and lay down and told Aunt Tang, "Wake me up early tomorrow morning. I have to set rules for them." Aunt Tang respectfully responded, "Yes." But lying on the bed, she was still uneasy. "Mother Tang." "Old lady, send someone to Dongfu to inquire." Aunt Tang looked embarrassed. "Old madam, I just sent someone to inquire. People from the East Mansion said that the eldest princess and the Duke have rested. If you disturb them again, you may make the eldest princess unhappy." "Is she unhappy?" The old lady's expression darkened. "She is now the daughter-in-law of the Sheng family. The emperor asked her to marry into the Sheng family instead of letting Jing'an enter the eldest princess mansion, which is enough to prove the emperor's favor to the Sheng family. If you don't even understand this, don't blame me for setting some rules for her tomorrow." Aunt Tang lowered her head and said, "Yes, but setting the rules will be a matter of tomorrow morning. Madam, it's better to rest early so that you can have enough energy tomorrow." The old lady snorted coldly and began to think about how to give Yan Donghuang some power so that she could understand her current identity as soon as possible and change her bad temper brought from the battlefield. If she lost her temper because of Sheng Jing'an, then she should be given a good beating. But the majestic princess has no tolerance for her. How can she be a good wife in the future? Nanny Tang helped the old lady to sleep and ordered the two maids who were keeping watch to take good care of her, then turned and walked out. That night, the old lady didn't sleep soundly. She always felt that something was getting out of her control, which made her feel uneasy, so much so that she woke up before dawn. When the servants were changing clothes, she asked casually, "Are everyone up in the East Mansion?" Aunt Tang shook her head. "There's no movement yet. She overslept on the first day of her wedding." "Does she still have any rules in her eyes?" The old lady said coldly, "Send someone to call." "Yes. The sky has not yet fully opened outside, the sky is gray, and the house is unusually quiet. Yan Donghuang has finished washing." She barely slept that night, thinking about the past in her mind. She only squinted for a while when she was extremely sleepy, and then woke up again. At this time, she was wearing a red floor-length dress, her black hair was tied up, her hair was decorated with gorgeous red hairpins, and her head was covered with beads. She looked graceful and luxurious. In the thermal pavilion next door, the roars and moans had become hoarse and feeble. After walking to the main hall and sitting down on a chair, she said calmly, "I am ordering you from this princess. Everyone from the Sheng family, from the old lady and eldest lady to the mama and servants, should come and kowtow to me." "Yes." The order was passed to Shoantong, and everyone in the room was stunned. The old lady, who was sitting on the main seat in rich clothes, waiting for the newlyweds to serve tea, thought she had heard wrongly and could hardly believe it. "What did you say?" Nanny Tang looked horrified. A message came from the Dong mansion. The eldest princess ordered the old lady to bring everyone from the Sheng family over to see the ceremony. "How presumptuous!" The old lady slapped the table. "She is now the daughter-in-law of the Sheng family. Has she forgotten her identity?" In addition to the old lady, the aunts Shui and Fang, the second wife Wang, the eldest lady Sheng Chuyue, and the second lady Sheng Chuyin also sat in the Shoan hall. Hearing what Aunt Tang said, Sheng Chuyue's face showed anger. "What's going on, eldest brother? Can't you even control your own wife?" The emperor favored the Sheng family, so he allowed the eldest princess to marry into the Sheng family. Daughter-in-law. On the first day of her wedding, she not only didn't come to offer tea to her mother-in-law, but she also dared to act like an eldest princess. How unreasonable! Nanny Tang spoke uneasily. "Old madam, when I just went to the East Mansion to convey the order, only the eldest princess's personal maid came out to speak. I didn't see anyone else, not even Mrs. June. Isn't this too strange?" When the old lady heard this, her heart skipped a beat. What trick is she playing? Old madam, it's not good." A servant came in a hurry and stood outside the door to report, "There are many more elites inside and outside the Duke's mansion. After asking around, I found that they were all transferred from the princess's mansion last night." Come here. What? The old lady jumped up and became furious. What is Yan Donghuang doing? The Sheng family is not her eldest princess's palace. Does she want to dominate the Sheng family? Sheng Chuyue said angrily. Mother should give her some rules and let her know who is the head of the Sheng family. The second lady frowned. Sister-in-law, the eldest princess is the eldest princess after all. Although the emperor's favor is great, the superiority of the monarch and his ministers must not be messed up. Sister-in-law, why not be patient and see the situation first? Maybe the eldest princess just slept late and did not give any advice. We want to show off our power, but doesn't the second madam feel strange? Aunt Shui raised a doubt. Even if the princess didn't come to pay respects, the duke should have come to pay respects to his mother, and Sheng Yun was nowhere to be seen. I always feel that it's a bit strange. How could the old lady sit still after hearing what she said? I'll go and see for myself, she said coldly. If Yan Donghuang really dares to put on the airs of the princess and bully me, my mother-in-law, I will definitely let Jing'an submit a memorial to the palace and complain to the emperor. The order from the East Palace was for the old lady to take everyone from the Duke's mansion to see the princess, and the second madam naturally followed. No matter what happened later, at least she couldn't leave any room for criticism in terms of etiquette. Aunt Shui and Aunt Fong followed the old lady without saying a word. Both of them were concubines of the deceased Duke, each with a daughter and no son. They had no say in the Duke's mansion, and they lived their lives entirely at the request of the old lady and Sheng Jing'an. The second wife Wang and the third wife Ning are the wives of the old Duke's brothers and are sisters-in-law to the old lady. In fact, as early as 3 years ago, the second and third masters separated and moved out. The second and third wives do not live in the Duke's mansion now. This morning, the old lady wanted to set rules for the new daughter-in-law, so she specially called them over to support the scene. With the addition of them and the 2 concubines, plus the 2 daughters Sheng Chuyue and Sheng Chuyin, and several maids, the scene instantly became bigger. Arriving outside the gate of the East Mansion, the 3 layers of guards inside and outside protected the East Mansion tightly, as if not even a mosquito could fly in. The old lady was so angry when she saw this scene. She really thinks Sheng family is her princess's mansion. Look at these guards, they surround the East Mansion like an iron barrel. What is she doing? What does she want to do? Chanlan and Chanyue walked out and looked at the old lady who was showing her teeth and claws. They said coldly, "How can you yell in front of the princess's courtyard? Is this how the old lady of the Duke's mansion was brought up?" The old lady's face was frozen with anger. "You! What did you say? Do you know who I am? Where is the princess? Let her come out to see me immediately. How dare you?" Chanlan walked up and slapped her in the face. "Who allowed you to talk to the princess like this?" The air seemed to freeze for a moment. The expressions of the people following him all changed drastically. The old lady covered her face and looked at her in shock. "You dare to hit me? You bitch!" Seeing her mother being beaten, Sheng couldn't help it any longer. She rushed over and slapped Chanlan. "My mother is the eldest princess's mother-in-law. How dare you, a bitch, beat her? I want my eldest brother to do it. Beat you to death with a stick." Chanlan grabbed her hand and looked sharply. The Sheng family really has no imperial power. How dare a little servant girl dare to yell at the eldest princess? The sound of the sword being unsheathed reached the eardrums, as if it brought an icy chill. The old lady's heart sank, and she turned to look at the guards who had unsheathed their swords. She turned pale and pointed at them tremblingly. "You! How dare you use weapons in the Duke's mansion? Don't be impulsive." The second lady spoke in time to smooth things over. "We came to greet the eldest princess on her orders. We have no ill intentions. Really, we have no ill intentions." When Sheng Chuyue saw the guards drawing their swords, she was so frightened that her face turned pale. She was no longer as arrogant and domineering as before. If you look carefully, you can even see her trembling legs. Not to mention the 2 aunts, they were too shocked to say a word. Chanlan let go of Sheng Chuyue's hand coldly. "The eldest princess lets you go in." The old lady hurriedly walked into the main hall of Huangjiu and saw Yan Donghuang, who was dressed in gorgeous clothes and sitting on the main seat. His hair was full of luxurious hairpins, and he looked like a princess of the Tian family. There is a nun on each side of her and 3 maids, including Chang Lan and Chang Yu. There are 8 people in the first class of maids alone. The old lady's face was ugly. She turned her head and looked around the hall calmly, but did not see Jing'an or Shenyun. Mrs. Sheng. Chang Lan walked to Yan Donghuang and stood beside her, looking coldly at the family in front of her. You should kneel down when you see the eldest princess. The old lady turned her eyes slightly and stared at Yan Donghuang. The emperor has decreed that the eldest princess should marry into the Sheng family as her daughter-in-law. From now on, she should serve her mother-in-law, support her husband, and educate her children, and must not violate it. Your Highness, eldest princess, are you going to resist? Purpose? You're right. Yan Donghuang held the teacup and carelessly lowered his eyes to sip the tea. Not only will I resist the decree, but I will also kill all those with ulterior motives. The last 4 words seemed to be suddenly tainted with a bloodthirsty air, which made people's hearts tremble with fear. The old lady was startled and took 2 steps back unconsciously. You. What did you say? Yan Donghuang calmly ordered, bring them 2 out. After hearing the order, the 2 tall and round-waisted nuns turned around and headed towards the Nuan Pavilion. They pushed open the door and entered. After a while, they dragged a person out. When they walked to the main hall, the 2 of them threw the people in their hands to the ground at the same time. Everyone turned to look at the 2 of them in unison, and for a moment they didn't recognize who they were. Both of them were disheveled, in a miserable state, covered in bloodstains, and their clothes were torn by whips. The old lady was shocked and stared at the clothes on Sheng Jing'an. It was clearly the wedding robe she wore when she got married yesterday. The groom who was so high-spirited yesterday has turned into a bloody man with scars today. Her eyes went from shock to disbelief. She stumbled forward, bent down, tremblingly reached out to brush his hair, and finally saw his pale and colorless face. In an instant, he almost lost his mind. Jing'an, how did you become like this? Who beat you like this? Jing'an. Who beat you like this? Brother, Sheng Chuiwei rushed over and knelt down in front of him, looking at him in disbelief. What's going on? What's going on? The second lady and 2 aunts also obviously recognized Sheng Jing'an, and they all froze on the spot, unable to react. This scene obviously caught everyone by surprise. Yesterday we were happy, today we see blood? This. Mother, Sheng Jing'an recovered from the severe pain and spoke in a hoarse voice. I'm fine. Mother, don't worry. Let's take a look at Juner first and find a doctor to take a look at the child in her belly. Juner? The old lady turned to look at Shenyun and saw that her face was covered in blood, her hair was messy, and the blood marks on her face were shocking. How could she still recognize her original appearance? Mother, it's me. Shenyun's voice trembled. I am Shenyun. The old lady's eyes suddenly shrank and she looked at Shenyun in disbelief. Are you really Shenyun? Shenyun's eyes were red and her face was pale. It's me, eldest princess. The second lady was stunned and slowly looked at Yan Donghuang on the throne, trying her best to calm down. What's going on? You just got married yesterday. Why did you end up like this? Wasn't it fine when you got married yesterday? Why did the newlyweds turn against each other overnight? Yan Donghuang lowered his eyes and took a sip of tea without saying a word. Seeing that everyone recognized Sheng Jing'an and Shenyun, he slowly spoke. Don't you know that you have to kneel down when you see this princess? Thump! The 2 timid aunts were the first to kneel down in fear, trembling and not daring to resist. Yan Donghuang. The old lady almost lost her mind. She stood up and rushed towards Yan Donghuang. She raised her hand and slapped her hard on the face. You vicious woman! Jing'an is your husband, and you actually wanted to murder her on your wedding night. Husband, Shenyun is still pregnant with a child. You. Chang Lan grabbed her wrist, raised his foot and kicked her knee. Boom sound. Ah! The old lady's knee fell hard to the ground. The pain caused her face to turn pale, and she was suddenly covered in cold sweat. Mother! Sheng Jing'an's eyes were red with anger, and he looked at Yan Donghuang with resentment. If you have anything to say, come to me. Don't bully a weak woman like mother. She is an elder. Yan Donghuang, she is your mother-in-law. Mother-in-law? Yan Donghuang smiled coldly. Sheng Jing'an, have you forgotten what I said last night? From the moment you handed the poisoned wine to me, we are sworn enemies. Don't try to be friendly. From today on, this princess is alone and has no relatives. The second wife's face changed. Poisoned wine? What poisoned wine? Yan Donghuang, you are lying. The old lady's face turned pale, and she looked at Yan Donghuang angrily. How can you be so cruel? Shen Yuan is the younger sister of concubine De, and she is pregnant with Jing'an's child. How dare you beat her like this? You want to rebel, right? Come quickly. Hurry up and report to the emperor that the eldest princess wants to rebel. What are you doing? Don't come over. Yan Donghuang stood up and walked towards the old lady step by step. Seeing her expression as cold as a demon, the old lady seemed to have just realized the danger and stepped back in fear. I tell you, you can't do anything reckless. You are now the daughter-in-law of the Sheng family. You are of low birth. Even if you have made contributions, it is the emperor's grace. Ah! Yan Donghuang's eyes were fierce, and he stretched out his hand to pinch her neck. The emperor's grace? Giving Sheng Jing'an a concubine is the emperor's grace. Poisoning this princess is the emperor's grace. Taking away this princess's military power is the emperor's grace. And putting this princess to death is also the emperor's grace. The old lady was pinched by her and couldn't speak. She screamed in pain, Let me go! Let me go, Your Highness! Suddenly, a man came in from outside the house and knelt on one knee. 10,000 elite soldiers have entered the city, but they alarmed the soldiers guarding the city. There was a little conflict between the two sides. More than a dozen people on the other side were injured. They have already reported to the emperor in the palace. Yan Donghuang shook off Madame Sheng and said coldly, Send 500 people to guard each of the 9 city gates. No royal nobles, court officials, or noble families are allowed to leave the city. Yes, more than 5,000 more people were transferred to the inner city to guard the imperial road leading to the main gate of the palace, keeping a safe distance from the tower to ensure that their arrows are useless. Yes. The old lady was so frightened that her face turned pale. Yan Donghuang, you, cough, you actually mobilized troops without permission? Moving troops without an order is rebellion. It is rebellion. Do you want to kill us? So what? Yan Donghuang turned his head and looked at her with a cold and solemn expression. Anyway, this princess can only live for 7 more days. So she will use these 7 days to stir up chaos in the imperial city and make her throne unstable. So what if the civil and military affairs of the entire dynasty are in chaos, the country is overturned, and the entire dynasty is buried with this princess? The old lady's face turned pale and she was too shocked to say a word. Yan Donghuang went crazy. She is really crazy. Want my princess's military talisman? Yan Donghuang curled his lips, and his smile was a bit cold. I personally offer it to you today. Let's see if he dares to accept it. The old lady's voice trembled. You, what on earth do you want to do? Princess, don't mess around. I will not let Jing'an have concubines, nor will he marry an equal wife. We will definitely do it in the future. Treat you well, eldest princess. You, don't act recklessly. The rebellion will destroy the 9 tribes. Who are the 9 tribes of this princess? Yan Donghuang looked down at her coldly. If they're not just you ungrateful, selfish, and despicable people, what's the point of dying? After saying this, she ignored Mrs. Gu and turned around to say, Changyue, Changfeng, exist. Sheng Jing'an gave me 7 days broken heart powder. Without the antidote, I can only live for another 7 days. So from now on, he is no longer my husband, but a sworn enemy. Yes. This princess has left the battlefield temporarily. She has not been stained with blood for half a year. Today she will start another killing spree. Yan Donghuang ordered, guard all the entrances and exits of Sheng Mansion. Anyone who wants to break out will be killed without mercy. Yes. A young man in black stepped forward, unfolded a red cloak, and tied it on Yan Donghuang expressionlessly, his eyelids slightly drooping. No matter what His Highness wants to do, I will obey it to the death. Eldest princess. The old lady turned pale with fright. She no longer cared about showing off her authority and just wanted Yan Donghuang to be more sensible. No, we can't mobilize troops. Yan Donghuang stared coldly at the hateful-looking old lady in front of him. She is called old madam not because she is really that old. In fact, Sheng Jing'an is only 21 years old this year. Mrs. Sheng Wei married Sheng Jing'an's father when she was 15 and gave birth to Sheng Jing'an the following year, still less than 40. But because Sheng Jing'an inherited the Duke's palace and the person in charge was the son of the Wei family, it was natural for her to become the old lady of the family. She enjoyed wealth and honor, was respected and admired by others, and was ordered to marry an eldest princess as her daughter-in-law. With such great glory, doesn't it mean that she has become the Empress Dowager? Judging from her reaction to Shen Yun just now, it was obvious that she knew that Shen Yun was pregnant. Shen Yun entered the house without any name and no status. To this day, she wants to force her to nod and agree to marry his wife and concubine together. None of the despicable people in the Sheng family deserve to be forgiven. Yan Donghuang closed his eyes gently and said in a cold and ruthless voice, "Rong-ing, my subordinate is here. Call the elite outside the mansion to come in. There must be no less than 1 box of my princess's dowry, and all of it must be carried to the eldest princess's mansion." Yan Donghuang ordered, "Anyone who dares to stop me will be beaten to death." Yes. No, no, the old lady's face changed drastically, and she quickly stopped her. "You are married to the Duke's mansion, and you have no right to return to the princess's mansion. The Holy One has decreed that you—" Yan Donghuang kicked Sheng Jing'an to the ground, stepped on his back with 1 foot, and stared at the old lady without saying a word. The sinister look in her eyes successfully caused the old lady's unfinished words to get stuck in her throat. The color on her face gradually faded away, leaving only stiffness and paleness. "You can continue talking." Yan Donghuang's tone was indifferent and ruthless to the extreme. "Let's see whether your words can threaten this princess, or whether my feet will break Sheng Jing'an's spine first." The old lady's face turned pale, and a cold air ran up her back from the soles of her feet, making her shiver. "Don't mess with me again." Yan Donghuang warned for the last time. "For a person who only has 7 days left to live, what else in the world do you think can threaten her?" The old lady's teeth chattered. 7 days? To be precise, there may only be 6 days left." Yan Donghuang smiled slightly, and the smile was creepy. "Thanks to your son, this princess has lost trust in the entire Yong kingdom." Shen Yun crept forward, hugged her legs, and begged tremblingly, eldest princess, there is an antidote. I dare not lie to you. I can really prepare the antidote. Please believe me. Give me 2 days." Yes, Shen Yun is right." The second lady was shocked and said quickly, "Princess, there is an antidote for Duangchang powder. Don't be impulsive. I just said that I have lost trust in everyone." Yan Donghuang narrowed his eyes. "From now on, everyone will be silent." But my sister-in-law is bleeding." A crying voice sounded, and Sheng Chuyue pointed in horror to a pool of blood on the ground, where Shen Yun fell just now. "Get the doctor quickly, get the doctor." Yan Donghuang looked at the pool of blood with cold eyes. "The child is gone. Why should we call the doctor?" "Yan Donghuang, you are so cruel." Sheng Jing'an gritted his teeth and said in a vicious voice, "You are so cruel, you won't even let a child go. Not as despicable, shameless, and nasty as you." Yan Donghuang said in a calm tone, "This child is blessed, so he left you 2 inhuman parents early. This is his luck." After that, she threw the whip in her hand to Chanwan. "You 2 stay here, no one is allowed to go out." If anyone dares to go out, we will kill them one by one, no mercy. Yes. Yan Donghuang walked out. The orderly footsteps sounded, and a group of elite armored soldiers led by Si Ying came straight to the East Palace, carrying out the dowry temporarily placed in Ling Shui Pavilion and sending it to the princess's mansion. Yan Donghuang stood outside the main gate of the East Palace, watching the endless dowry being carried out of the Duke's mansion, and her beautiful and indifferent face was calm and unperturbed. She was the eldest princess with great military achievements, and the scale of her marriage strictly followed the royal etiquette, so the dowry would naturally not be small. The emperor wanted to kill her because of the dark thoughts hidden deep in his heart, but he would never treat her harshly on the surface. If she really stayed in the Duke's mansion, or if she died in the Duke's mansion, these dowries would be enough to make the Duke's mansion's 3 generations worry-free and live a life of luxury. It's a pity that they ruined this wealth and splendor with their own hands. In the changing palace, the emperor, who was over 30 years old, stood up suddenly, looking at the deputy commander of the imperial guards kneeling in the palace with sharp eyes. "What did you say?" The deputy commander bowed his head. The princess mobilized 200 elites to surround the Duke's mansion last night, and sent her trusted men out of the city early this morning to mobilize 10,000 elite soldiers into the imperial city. The emperor's eyes flashed with surprise, and then he was furious. Does she want to rebel? The princess mobilized troops? The man standing aside waiting for the meeting changed his face. Why is it so sudden? Didn't Donghuang get married last night? According to the rules, she should go to the palace to pay respects to the Empress Dowager today. Why is she mobilizing troops? I don't know the details. The deputy commander bowed his head. Please let the emperor decide. Call the commander of the imperial guards in Rome. The emperor said angrily, let him come here immediately. Yes. The commander of the imperial guards in Rome is the best master in the palace, responsible for protecting the safety of the inner court and the emperor. He has a sinister and cold temperament and does not recognize his relatives, but is only loyal to the emperor. Hearing the emperor's call, Ing Rong seemed to have guessed something. Without delay, he arrived at the changing palace at the fastest speed. I, Ing Rong, pay my respects to the emperor. Princess Qinghuan's private deployment of troops is considered treason. Emperor Xiaoming ordered coldly, I order you to immediately gather the imperial guards and arrest the princess. Ing Rong said, I obey the order, brother. The young man standing aside bowed and said, don't you need to ask the princess why she deployed troops first? She just got married yesterday, and she deployed troops into the city early this morning. I wonder if it has anything to do with the Jing'an mansion. Emperor Xiaoming clenched the red pen in his hand, his eyes dark and sinister. He naturally guessed what the reason was. Yesterday, when they got married, according to the plan, Sheng Jing'an should have put the 7 days heartbroken powder into the wedding wine. What is uncertain now is whether Yan Donghuang drank that glass of wine. If she drank the wine, it stands to reason that even if the poison did not take effect so quickly, she should not have suddenly deployed troops into the city. Does she not even want the antidote? Or did she deliberately use this method to threaten Sheng Jing'an and make him hand over the antidote? Emperor Xiaoming looked gloomy. Even if the Duke of Jing'an disrespected her, there was no need for 10,000 elite soldiers to suppress it. The Duke's mansion, except Sheng Jing'an, is a group of old, weak women and children. Who does she want to fight with? The young man was speechless. If there is only a conflict with the Duke's mansion, the 200 elite soldiers she transferred from the princess's mansion are enough to protect the master. A dark light flashed in the eyes of Emperor Xiaoming, and there was a bit more murderous air in his voice. I'm afraid Yan Donghuang has a rebellious heart. The young man is the 7th brother of the current emperor, Prince Yan Ling, and he is also the prince who unconditionally supported the emperor in the war for the throne. After the new emperor ascended the throne, he eliminated dissidents, and he was the only prince who survived. Because they were all members of the emperor's faction, Yan Ling understood Donghuang and knew that Donghuang only had the country in his heart and had never had the idea of treason. Hearing the emperor's words, he couldn't help but retort, but Donghuang is a woman, and she just got married yesterday. How could she suddenly have a rebellious heart? What if she is a woman? Emperor Xiaoming scolded. As a princess, she still led troops to fight for several years? Since a woman can lead troops to fight, how can we know that she won't have the intention to seize power and usurp the throne? This is a false accusation, and there is no shortage of excuses. Eng Rong lowered his eyes and said nothing. Yan Ling pursed his lips, and a chill flashed across his eyes. Donghuang has been loyal for many years. Not only did she kill enemies on the battlefield, but she also firmly protected the emperor's accession to the throne. Today, when the troops were mobilized, the emperor didn't even ask the reason, and he was sure that she had a rebellious heart. Did he want to kill Yan Donghuang a long time ago, or did Yan Donghuang detect some conspiracy in the duke's mansion? Yan Ling didn't say anything. What the emperor said was not completely wrong. Since a woman can go to the battlefield, she can have the heart to seek power and usurp the throne, because she conquered half of the Yong dynasty, and she has the right to covet it. When the 6 princes competed for the throne, the strength of the princes was equal. If it weren't for the help of Princess Qingyuan, the favorite of the late emperor, how could the Empress Dowager and the emperor, mother and son, easily win the throne? Unfortunately, the cunning rabbit dies and the running dog is cooked. It is an eternal truth, Eng Rong. Emperor Xiaoming didn't know what Yan Ling was thinking, and ordered coldly, no matter how many people are dispatched, Yan Donghuang must be arrested. Yes, Eng Rong took the order and left. Brother, Yan Ling suppressed the complicated thoughts in his heart. I will go to the duke's mansion to take a look, just in time to understand what happened last night. Emperor Xiaoming was silent for a moment, and nodded slowly. If Yan Donghuang has any adverse behavior against the duke's mansion, you must find a way to stop it. I obey your order. Yan Ling bowed and left, turned around and walked out of the Qingjing Hall. Standing on the steps of the palace and looking at the horizon, Yan Ling suddenly felt a little cold, and felt that the palace was about to change. The Duke of Jinghua Mansion was a duke's family inherited from his ancestors. It was the most prominent in the reign of Emperor Shengzu, and earned the duke's mansion and title by merit. Unfortunately, after 2 generations of inheritance, the descendants were a little thin, and each generation was more mediocre than the previous one, and the family was no longer as prominent as before. Without outstanding merits and official career support, the mansion gradually became cold and deserted, which was an inevitable outcome. When the ancestor emperor conferred the Sheng family the title of duke, he promised that it could be inherited for 3 generations without reducing the title. Sheng Jing'an's father's generation was exactly the 3rd generation. As the son of the duke, Sheng Jing'an often followed his father into the palace when he was young, and occasionally went in and out of the military camp. He seemed to want to repeat the path of his ancestors in the army, so he was quite favored in front of the late emperor. Yan Donghuang happened to be a princess who was good at martial arts. She was taught by the late emperor since she was young. She often met Sheng Jing'an, and they were childhood sweethearts. Perhaps the late Duke Jinghua saw that his son was not good at martial arts and leading troops, so he always brought his son to Yan Donghuang intentionally or unintentionally, relying on the friendship between the late emperor and his subjects, and forced a childhood sweetheart. From the perspective of a father, the late Duke Jinghua was undoubtedly a qualified father. He planned for his son and the Sheng family, creating opportunities for his son to have the opportunity to cultivate feelings with the princess who was good at martial arts, and to get married in the future. Later, the development of things was exactly as he expected. Yan Donghuang followed the late emperor to the battlefield at the age of 12. From the initial experience to the repeated military exploits, and then to leading troops alone, she was named the eldest princess, which shows her extraordinary ability. The late emperor granted the 2 of them a marriage before his death. This marriage is the best choice for both the Sheng family and Yan Donghuang, because the Sheng family needs a daughter-in-law who can make achievements, and Yan Donghuang has been without a mother since childhood, so her temperament is a little withdrawn. From childhood to adulthood, she can only show some warmth when she is with Sheng Jing'an. Marriage can make her softer if the Sheng family treats her sincerely. However, things are unpredictable. The two people who facilitated this marriage are no longer here. The previous emperor passed away, and the Duke of Jing'an passed away. How things will develop in the future is no longer something they can decide. Yan Ling sighed lightly, and when he left the palace, he saw the Qinghuan elite standing silently on both sides of the imperial road. The ministers went to court early, and the officials who were far away had to change into court clothes and go to the palace at Incher, and those who were closer had to arrive at the palace before Maosher. The Qinghuan army probably entered the inner city after the ministers went to court, so it did not cause a stir when the officials went to court. Sitting in a carriage, he went to the Duke of Jing'an's mansion first. It was almost 9 o'clock now, and the 200 elite soldiers had sent all the dowry to the princess's mansion one after another. There was a dead silence outside the gate of the Duke of Jing'an's mansion. The only 2 guards were pale with panic. When they saw Yan Ling getting off the carriage, they stayed for a long time before kneeling down with a plop, "Greetings to Princeton." Yan Ling looked at the 2 people with panic expressions and said in a light tone, "What happened in the Duke's mansion last night?" "I don't know." The guard replied tremblingly. "The princess quietly dispatched some people to surround the Duke's mansion last night. Because there were too many guests, the mansion was bustling, and the princess was of noble status. I thought that this was agreed by the princess and the Duke, so I didn't disturb the old lady." Unexpectedly, before dawn, the princess ordered these guards to carry all the dowry to the princess's mansion. Dowry? Yan Ling was stunned, and suddenly a glimmer of hope emerged in his heart. If Donghuang just had a little trouble with Sheng Jing'an and needed manpower to move the dowry before dispatching troops, it should have nothing to do with rebellion. Maybe he just didn't want to live in the Duke's mansion. Yan Ling thought this was very likely. Donghuang was used to being free. If he was not used to the various rules of the Sheng family after the wedding, it would be normal for him to regret and want to live in the princess's mansion. But the imperial decree required her to marry into the Duke's mansion. If she had to return to the princess's mansion on her wedding night, it would obviously make the Sheng family lose face. Perhaps it was because of this that the 2 sides had a conflict. The more Yan Ling thought about it, the more he felt that this possibility was very high. Compared with treason, even if it was disobedience or a marital feud, he would feel that the matter was not so serious. But why were there thousands of elite soldiers stationed on the imperial road? Yan Ling pondered for a moment and quickly asked, "Where are your old lady and the Duke?" "I don't know." The guard shook his head. "When the princess ordered people to move the dowry, I didn't see the Duke and the old lady come out." Yan Ling's heart sank, and he felt that the situation was not normal. Logically speaking, even if Donghuang and Sheng Jing'an had a falling out, the Duke's mansion should not have no movement. This marriage was arranged by the previous emperor, and the current emperor ordered the Imperial Astronomical Bureau to choose an auspicious day. The marriage granted by 2 emperors successively, how could it be allowed to be so trifling? In order to show his respect for the Duke's mansion, the emperor allowed Donghuang to marry into the Sheng family as the eldest princess and gave her an extremely rich dowry, which was more grand than any other princess wedding. Even if 200 guards were dispatched, it would take some time to move the things, which would inevitably alarm many people. How could the old lady of the Duke's mansion remain indifferent and not even show her face? Yan Ling realized the seriousness of the situation and frowned and asked, "Where is the eldest princess now?" "She has returned to the eldest princess's mansion." Yan Ling looked at the closed door in front of him and was about to go in to ask about the situation, but at this time he heard a hurried sound of carriage wheels in the distance, and he couldn't help but turn his head to look. A small and exquisite carriage came galloping, and 4 maids ran behind the carriage, and they arrived outside the gate in a blink of an eye. The maid lifted the curtain of the carriage, and a pretty girl got off the carriage. When she saw Yan Ling, she was stunned, and then stepped forward to salute. "Your servant greets Princeton." "Miss Sheng, there is no need to be polite," Yan Ling said in a steady tone. "Why are you in a hurry to come?" This girl is the daughter of the second house separated from the Duke's mansion, Sheng Jing'an's cousin Sheng Chuxian, who is only 14 years old and has not yet married. The Duke's mansion is the eldest house. Even if something suddenly happens, the second house will not let her, a little girl, come to ask about it. Replied to Prince, and Sheng Jing'an frowned, her face full of worry. My mother was called here by my aunt early in the morning, saying that she wanted to set rules for the new daughter-in-law. I heard that the eldest princess mobilized troops to surround the Duke's mansion, and I was very worried, so I couldn't help but come to see and wanted to take my mother back. Yan Ling's expression changed slightly. Set rules for the new daughter-in-law? What ability does the Sheng family rely on to dare to openly torture the eldest princess of the dynasty? Sheng Jing'an lowered her eyes uneasily. That's what the nanny who came to inform my mother said. I don't know the inside story. Yan Ling tightened his hands behind his back and couldn't help but have an ominous guess in his heart. What did Donghuang encounter last night? The Sheng family is a minister, and it is just a declining duke's mansion that is glorious on the surface, but not as prominent as before. If it weren't for the affection and engagement between Donghuang and Sheng Jing'an, the plaque of the duke's mansion would have been taken down long ago. He didn't believe that the old lady of the Sheng family would be stupid enough to dare to negotiate with a princess who holds military power, so who instructed her to make such a bold decision? Your Majesty? Sheng Jing'an reminded in a low voice. Yan Ling came back to his senses and glanced at her, suppressed the emotional fluctuations in his heart, and said lightly, You go in with me. Yes, thank you, Your Majesty. Yan Ling turned and walked into the mansion, but when he stepped over the threshold, Yan Ling found that he couldn't enter the inner courtyard at all. There was not a single servant in the front yard of the Duke's mansion, let alone the master. There were only a lot of guards on both sides, as if no one was allowed to enter. The mansion was dead silent, as if it had been searched. Yan Ling looked at the sword-wielding guards in front of him with a cold and solemn aura, and said in a light tone, I am Prince Yan Ling. I have been ordered to come to the Duke's mansion to inquire about the situation. Where are the old lady and the Duke of Jinghua? The guards bowed as a courtesy, but did not speak. Prince Yan was about to walk into the mansion, but saw 4 guards on both sides step forward, all showing their unsheathed swords, crossing in front of him. The tall guard said indifferently, Please stay, Prince Yan. The princess has ordered that no one is allowed to enter the Duke of Jinghua's mansion. Yan Ling frowned. Why? The guard replied, It's the princess's order. I dare not ask more. Sheng Jing'an said anxiously, Excuse me, sir, is my mother here? The second wife of the Sheng family, she came to the Duke of Jinghua's mansion early in the morning. The guard said, I don't know. Yan Ling thought for a moment, then turned to look at Sheng Jing'an. Don't worry, Miss Sheng. I will go to the princess's mansion to see Donghuang and ask her what's going on. Your Majesty, Sheng Jing'an looked pale and uneasy. My mother has always been kind to others. There is absolutely no reason for her to offend the princess. Please help me, Your Majesty. Don't worry, the princess is not someone who can't tell right from wrong. Yan Ling said in a gentle manner, Miss Sheng, go back first. It's inconvenient for me to take you with me. Just go back and wait for news. After saying that, Yan Ling didn't hesitate for a moment, turned around and left the mansion, hurriedly got on the carriage, and told the driver to go to the Princess Qinghuan's mansion. Sheng Jing'an bit her lip and turned to look at the heavily guarded Duke's mansion. There were big red characters posted everywhere in the mansion, indicating that the grand wedding yesterday was not fake. But she really couldn't understand why the Duke's mansion had changed so much in just one night. Where is her mother? Is she in danger? Sheng Jing'an was worried and always felt that things were going to change.